ఏపీ టుడే సామాజిక మాధ్యమాలకు ప్రేక్షకులకు స్వాగతం సుస్వాగతం. నా పేరు షఫీ అహ్మద్. దేశవ్యాప్తంగా ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానంపై చర్చ జరుగుతోంది. రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వాలు, కేంద్ర ప్రభుత్వం కూడా ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానాన్ని ప్రవేశపెడతామని చెప్పి హామీలు ఇస్తున్నారు. సార్వత్రిక ఎన్నికలు జరుగుతున్న ఈ తరుణంలో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో పాలకపక్షం, ప్రతిపక్షం రెండూ కూడా ముస్లిం ఓట్లను ఎరవేయటానికి ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానాన్ని తెరపై తెచ్చింది. 2014 ఎన్నికల్లోనే తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానాన్ని ప్రకటిస్తామని చెప్పి ఎన్నికల మేనిఫెస్టోలో హామీ ఇచ్చింది. అదేవిధంగా 2019 ఎన్నికల్లో ప్రత్యేకించి విపక్ష పార్టీ నాయకుడు వైఎస్ జగన్ కూడా ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానాన్ని తెస్తామని చెప్పి ప్రకటించారు. ఈ నేపథ్యంలో ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానంలో నిపుణులు, నిష్ణాతులైన అబ్దుల్ రహీబ్ గారు సోషల్ మీడియా స్టూడియోకి వచ్చున్నారు. వారితో ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానంపై స్వల్పకాలం పాటు ముఖాముఖి కార్యక్రమాన్ని ఇప్పుడు మీరు చూడబోతున్నారు. రఫీజీ, అస్సలాము అలైకుం. Sir, Rafiji, what about Islamic banking system? Also, what is meant by Islamic banking? How it is possible in this country? Can we establish that?
Yeah. In 2008, there was a great financial tsunami throughout the world, particularly in USA. Subprime mortgage housing crisis was there. And very, very large financial institutions like Lehman Brothers, Citibanks, they collapsed. And then at that time, people were thinking, is there any alternative for this conventional financial banking? And most of the people, financial experts, economic experts of the world, thought that yes, there is one interest-free Islamic bank that can be an alternative for all these evils. And at that time, Pope said, yes, we can have Islamic banking which can be very close to the customer. It will not have so much of risky type of things. So throughout the world in after 2008, lot of people started thinking of Islamic banking. And then after that financial tsunami, what actually happened, that almost all the other countries, they were having what should be the future financial projects that should come out in this financial meltdown scenario. And in our own country, the Planning Commission of India constituted a very high-level committee under Dr. Raghuram Rajan. So how to face this financial crisis in Indian context after the next coming 15 to 20 years. And then they formed the very high-level committee with constituted very important financial and bankers in that committee. And he went with all the stakeholders. And when we saw that the committee's draft recommendation, there was nothing called interest-free finance and banking. We had interaction with Dr. Raghuram Rajan, the members of those committee, and then we put forth that there is another alternative system of banking called interest-free Islamic banking that has to be accommodated in that financial sector reforms committee report. And by God's grace, yes, the committee accepted our plea, and then they came out that yes, interest-free finance and banking is very necessary for this country, and not only the small cooperative system and NBFC, but the main banking system itself, it can be accommodated. So one of the recommendations was interest-free banking can be accommodated, recommended that it should be accommodated in the banking sector.
Oh, Raqib ji, what you are telling, that is Islamic bank.
Yeah.
There is a name in Islamic.
Yeah.
Is it spiritual line? What is the formula?
Yeah.
The establish the Islamic bank.
Yeah.
Is in economic pro forma or religious pro forma? What is the spiritual?
No, the thing is, Islam is a way of life. There is no demarcation that this is secular, this is not secular. Everything is combined. It is a way of life. So when we talk about Islamic finance and banking, there are certain characteristics that has to be adopted. First thing is, interest should not be levied. And interest is haram, illegal, not permissible in Islam. Then another thing is, there should not be uncertainty. that speculation should not be there. One of the important characteristics of the Islamic finance and banking is the investment should be ethical, socially responsible. For example, today all the conventional finance and banking is talking about profit, whether it is harmful for the society or whether it is very destructive, but they want only the profit, and whether can they sell it and get more money. Islamic system doesn't allow this one. Whether it is ethical, it is for the basic human necessities, or it is socially responsible. For example, I want to give you an example. For example, weapons of mass destruction. For example, liquor. Islam says that you can't invest in weapons of mass destruction, you can't spend in liquor and pornography. These are things you can't. And so when we talk today, what exactly happens is in the conventional banks, they give for all these type of things, which makes it more profit, whether it is useful for the people or not, but they go for it. So there are certain filters of socially responsible investment, ethical responsible thing, no interest. And another one thing is, in Islamic finance, money is not a commodity. It has to go into certain economic activity, and then it should be profit and loss, risk sharing should be there. Ethical finances should be there, and wealth should not be concentrated in a few people's hand. Today what actually happened in the other conventional banking, rich are becoming richer and poor are becoming poor. As somebody has said, there is ocean of poverty today and islands of prosperity. So Islamic banking is a totally different connotation, and so we think that it should come into our great country.
Oh, Sir Rafiji, how it is possible in this Indian context? There is most of the bank corruption.
Yes.
Like Dina Bank, Charminar Bank, Krushi Bank. These are all insolvent petitions banks.
Yeah.
How it is possible in this country? How these governments are allowing you to promote your methods or your ideology?
Actually, in India there is no awareness about this Islamic finance and banking. 75 countries of the world are operating, and
particularly Muslim countries.
No. This is a modern, civilized, industrialized country like UK. Luxembourg is the hub of it. Germany is there. Japan is there. China is doing Islamic business through Hong Kong. So all these, not only Muslim countries, these secular modern countries. When I was talking to the finance minister, for example, Mr. Chidambaram, when we are having an international conference, he said, don't talk of the Muslim countries. I want non-Muslim countries. Then I made a big booklet of how in Thailand, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in UK, in USA, all these countries have got. And why not in India? That was the question, that if Tokyo can have, London can have, Luxembourg can have, why not Bombay and Andhra Pradesh? It should be. So unfortunately in India people don't know of it. And another thing is the returns, the profit out of the conventional bank compared to the Islamic bank is higher. That's the thing. Even during this financial tsunami in 2008, Islamic banking was not least affected, whereas the conventional banks affected like anything.
How can you procure the capital amount for this bank? Maybe it's 1,000 crores or 2,000 crores. Maybe anyhow.
No.
How you protect the money? Are you following the RBI rules and regulations?
There are certain organizations which controls and regulate those things. For example, IOFI is there, Accounting and Auditing Organization of Islamic Finance Institutes. And then Islamic Financial Board, Service Board is there in Malaysia. One is in Bahrain, another is Malaysia. And they come under the IMF and World Bank. They recognize IMF, International Finance Monetary Fund, and World Bank accept those standards coming out of the IOFI and IMFS. So the thing is, it goes both to the Islamic religious filters as well as the world regulatory banking sector and all, both of them.
To Rafiji, there is a model in Bangladesh. Amrastan developed the Islamic banking system there. How it is possible? Amrastan, he is the great economist.
No, this is Yunus.
Yunus.
There is a Grameen Bank. That is not Islamic. that has got certain things that they don't take collateral from the those who get the money, but it also charges interest. But it is a good step, because today almost all the conventional banks, what exactly happens, they want some collateral, they want some guarantee, and your credit worthiness should be there. But Islamic finance, apart from this credit worthiness, they want the project, how the project is, who is going to the beneficiary. Professor Yunus says rich people are dishonest, but poor people are not dishonest. And yes, in Grameen Bank, where the poorest of the poor are there, street vendors, small traders, and those household people, they pay 99% returns. But in conventional banks, all planning, in the name of planning, frauds are there, big fishers. You know, in India,
there is Nirav Modi.
Nirav Modi is there. Not only Nirav Modi and Kingfisher has come up, but each and every bank has got NPA, non-performing assets. So the problem is, there are two systems. This is the ethical system. This is the normal system. So what we are telling is to the government of India, where I am a vegetarian, almost all the other people are going for non-vegetarian. And when I am a vegetarian, I have got every right that in the restaurant, along with the non-vegetarian, there should be vegetarian. So today, in some of the biggest banks, for example, HSBC, one of the international bank, it has got Islamic window, HSBC Amana. It is working in Europe, it is working in Far East countries. And then it is the same thing with Standard Charters. It has got Standard Charters Sadiq, Islamic window, and City Islamic. All these things have the windows. So we are talking to the government of India. If you don't want to have full-fledged Islamic banking, which requires banking regulations to be amended, it has to go to the parliament. Why don't you have the interest-free window? And that doesn't require any amendment in the banking constitution. And the finance minister asked me, can you make the document and they submit to us? I went to the Darus Sharia Dubai Islamic Bank. I talked to the Central Bank of Malaysia. Some of the people who worked in India, in Reserve Bank of India, we made a document. Yes, this can be applied, and then within the Indian Banking Regulation Act, interest-free windows can be started out. And for that, the Reserve Bank said, can't you give me that notification that should not stuck up by the Reserve Bank of the Supreme Court? Then we made it. And after 1 year, there was nothing. So we went to the parliament and asked the finance ministry, why are we have submitted everything. Is there anything wrong? Come out. And then we are ready to do that. So again, you know, Reserve Bank, the finance ministry asked Reserve Bank to form another committee, interdepartmental committee on to look into the regulatory, legal and taxation aspects, and headed by Mr. Verma. Then they came out also. They went to so many other countries and they came out, yes, except this risky musharaka, what is called profit and loss thing, everything can be possible with a notification.
So, Fiji, we are going to close the discussion in 3 minutes.
Yeah.
My question is, nowadays in this Indian contest, particularly in election time, to attract the Muslim community, these leaders bringing the agenda of this Islamic Bank. Is it possible in these days? The leaders are trust and worthy?
No, the thing is, it is the political thing that has to be there. Unless the political agenda is not addressed to, no, we can't go from it. We have got the regulatory things, Reserve Bank has got everything, but when we were discussing with them, a Shiv Sena member went to the parliament and said, why can't you bring it? So unless some of these parties, which are the mainstream parties, when they stand up and say that we need it, then only we can have.
Shiv Sena people demanding.
They demanded in the parliament. One Aurangabad MP said, when it was flashed that the Reserve Bank and the Indian government want to do interest-free windows, at that time there was demonetization was there, and then the GST was there, parliament was not working. In the 0 hour, the man started talking. And the government was just looking for an excuse. This government, NDA government, they say, right now we don't want it. Actually, you know, when Prime Minister Modi went to the Reserve Bank to have a function of 70th year of the Reserve Bank of India, he said, you look, Reserve Bank people, even after 70 years of Reserve Banks working, only 50% people are there financially included. 50% people are outside the banking.
Still, you have the hope.
No, they're thinking, I just want to, I just want to tell one thing. And then he said he constituted another committee, medium-term path and financial inclusion. He said within 60 days, within 6 months, you come out with a report. What can be done for 90% people to be financially included? They came out with the report. They called me also. In that report, what Prime Minister Modi advice constituted, they had 5 pages of interest-free finance and banking. And they concluded that Islamic interest-free banking is based on justice. It is addressing the ethical investment which caters to the basic needs of the people, housing, food, shelter, and drinking water and everything. And then at the end of it, they concluded, yes, we are recommending interest-free windows in the banks, in the conventional bank. So unless there are certain parties, political parties, who can stand up and say in the parliament, in this one, that nothing can be done. And again, it is not only India is a United States of India. For example, I am talking the Tamil Nadu government. Tamil Nadu government have come out with the discussion, and they have come out with a Sharia compliant infrastructure. And recently they went into the Qatar, and they are getting a lot of money in the infrastructure development, in the affordable houses.
What about particularly your work at Andhra Pradesh?
The problem is
with Chandrababu Naidu?
No, actually what happened, one of my friends, who was there in the inner circle of the non-BJP, non-Congress parties conclave, he told me that Chandrababu Naidu, when I talked about interest-free finance and banking, he is interested in it. But his officers are apprehensive that it can't be possible. Then he said, go and then meet. And then I came to Vizag, and then his General Secretary, Ram Mohan Rao, I showed him all the PowerPoints and then all the discussion. He said, I am convinced. But my boss has to be convinced. And he was there in Nallur touring. At 11 o'clock, he called me, and then because I know that Chandrababu Naidu is very much interested in the presentation, facts and data and all this. I made all these documents with the data, with the statistics, and I showed him. It is not for Muslims alone, sir. It is for all the community people, and also for infrastructure. Sukuk is there, which is all over the world. And it has been discussed in G20 summit in Turkey, whereas all the G20 finance ministers and the central government regulators went there, and they said that Sukuk should come out. And that report was from the World Bank, Islamic Development Bank. And so everything is ready in the finance ministry also, but there is no political will. There should be somebody. If Muslim parties start telling us, they say, oh, it is for Muslims. So we want some mainstream party. And when Chandrababu Naidu says yes, then he said, go and then talk to my officer, planning board vice chairman, Kutumba Rao. And then he was also having some friends. I told him, these are the things, sir. This is the Reserve Bank, this is the Planning Commission, this is the World's this one, IMF report.
You are explaining all these things.
All these things. Then he was convinced. Then he said, okay, we are going to put it. What should be this? I told him, we will implement the recommendation of the Raghuram Rajan committees of high-level committee, which has asked to introduce Islamic interest-free banking. They read it. That's it. And we are not talking what are the interest-free banking as recommended by very high internationally famed economist Dr. Raghuram Rajan, not by the Muslim committee. So that is the thing. And it was a great thing that one of the main party and one of the contenders for the prime ministership. Today, I was told that some of the inner people, that Mamata Banerjee and this Farooq Abdullah, Kejriwal and other people came down to Vizag. During that discussion, they said that this can be one of the things.
Great achievement.
Yes, when that gentleman told me that he is ready, so I flew and then I discussed with them, and then they convinced, and then I put it in the manifesto. Yeah.
Finally, I am going to asking you same thing.
Yeah.
Is this bank, what you say Islamic Bank?
Yeah.
It is particularly work for only Muslim community, all over poor in all communities.
It is for all the communities, sir.
Not for particular
No,
Muslim.
for not Muslim community. Because I just want to tell you, in Malaysia, which is one of the great hub of Islamic finance and banking, 40% people are non-Muslim, Chinese. Just like those people, moneylenders here, we are very, very conservative people. They are 40% people. And borrowing is 60%. Investors are 40%, borrowing is 60%. In England, 20% are white people. In Kenya and South Africa also, a lot of non-Muslim. And India also, there are Sharia compliant stock. 40% people who are investing in the Sharia compliant stock are Jain community people. Because they have got also, they don't want to invest in alcohol, they don't want to invest on tobacco. Ethical investment, they also believe it. So we think today's in banking system, the small people, petty traders, small farmers, unorganized people don't give the money. That's why Mr. Swaminathan said, if Islamic banking with zero interest comes, there won't be any suicide for the farmers. Because Islamic banking
advised the Islamic banking system.
No. When we approached to him and they told him that in Sudan, which is one of the most poorest country of the world, the farmers were given Baisalam, one of the products of Islamic banking. And so that is more appropriate for them. He said instead of a subsidy, if they get the money in time, and then if it is possible that profit and loss, if sharing is there, that is the best thing.
Rafiji,
Yeah.
we are going to conclude the
Yeah.
discussion. Finally, my request is, what is your message
Yeah.
to the all peoples,
Yeah.
not the particular Muslim community, the richest and poor,
Yeah.
about this in this juncture,
Yeah.
in this event? What is your visit?
No, what I'm telling is 50% people are below the poverty line. They can't have access to the financial assets of this country. Usually, I just want to tell you, who is putting the money in the bank? Small people, pensioners, and poor people. But these savings are being given to the corporates. And nothing to be that. So in Islamic finance, interest-free finance, all the other people, small people, poor people, Hindus, Muslims, Christians, everybody will be interested. Farmers are not Muslim in a big way, but farmers will be there, skilled people will be there, and also unorganized people will be there. Not only that, not only the small people, but for the infrastructure, all over, Sukuk is there. 10,000 crores, 50,000 crores, because the banks, conventional bank cannot give 5 years or 10 years, but in Sukuk you can have it. And Sukuk is asset based, there will be asset will be there. Today's bond, they don't know where the money is going, but in Islamic product of Sukuk, we will know that it is meant for particular aspect, asset will be based, and then it will be controlled by the Sharia committee, and they will looking at what it is, and then when it is produced, manufactured, they will put into the special purpose vehicle, and all the money from the rents and all these things will be given. All the small people can also participate in it. So what I am telling is, all for the poor people, for the rich people, for the inclusive growth of the people, as well as the infrastructure development of the country. It is one of the best options that India will have. And then we ask the people, both Muslims and non-Muslims, and particularly the regulators and the political parties, if there is no political will, nothing can happen. Simply because Prime Minister Modi had the political will, he demonetized. He came out with a GST. So unless there is somebody who can stand, who can understand these things, and then he stand for that, only Muslims can't do it.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Indian Center for Islamic Finance General Secretary Abdul Rahib Garto, Islamic banking విధానంపై స్పష్టమైన అభిప్రాయాన్ని మీరు తెలుసుకున్నారు. ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానం పేదరికం, దరిద్రం నిర్మూలనకు కృషి చేస్తుందని, అదేవిధంగా ఉన్నత వర్గాల మధ్య నిమ్న వర్గాలుగా ఉన్న భేదాభిప్రాయాలను కూడా అంతరాలను కూడా తుడిచేస్తుందన్న అంశాన్ని చెప్పారు. అదేవిధంగా ఏదైతే ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ ఏర్పాటుకు సంబంధించి తన ప్రతిపాదనలు ఉన్నాయో ఆ ప్రతిపాదనకి ప్రధాని నరేంద్ర మోడీ దగ్గర నుంచి ఆర్థికవేత్తల వరకు, అదేవిధంగా రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రి వరకు కూడా సానుకూలమైనటువంటి దృక్పథం వ్యక్తమవుతుందని ఆయన చెప్పారు. అదేవిధంగా రాజకీయపరమైనటువంటి లక్ష్యాలతో కాకుండా దీని సామాజిక ఆర్థిక అంశాలతో ముడిపడి, అదేవిధంగా సమాజ ఉద్ధరణకు ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంక్ కృషి చేస్తుందని, కులాలకు మతాలకు అతీతంగా కేవలం పేదరికమే ప్రధాన లక్ష్యంగా ఇస్లామిక్ బ్యాంకింగ్ విధానం పనిచేస్తుందని చెప్పారు. మరో సందర్భంలో ఆయనతో మరిన్ని వివరాలు తెలుసుకుందాం. ధన్యవాదాలు. నమస్కారం. అస్సలాము అలైకుం.